Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Inside the Foul podcast brings you the opinions and perspectives of a couple best friends. And if you don't like that call, we've got 3 words for you. You're out of here! Now, kill the lights, let the game glow, and welcome to Inside the Foul. We are Chris and Ethan.
Ready to learn something about glow-in-the-dark baseball?
Oh, I really am. So, guys, we all know this sport has a way of showing you the grit and the drive of the game. A game of long bus rides, late nights, and 1,000 unseen hours chasing a moment on the mound. But every now and then, a player's journey reminds you exactly why people fall in love with the game in the first place. Today's guest has carved his path through college baseball, battled through the grit of independent leagues, and now finds himself taking the mound in one of the most electrifying versions of the game you'll see today. From Michigan roots to Division I baseball, from the relentless fight of professional independent leagues to the glowing chaos of cosmic baseball, he's lived the version of the dream most fans never get to see. The pressure, the uncertainty, the grind, and through it all, one thing stays the same. When the lights come on and the ball hits the glove, it's just pitcher versus hitter. Now imagine that, under black lights, with a glowing baseball, in front of thousands of fans losing their minds. That's where he thrives. So tonight, we dive into the journey, the highs, the setbacks, the locker room stories, and the moments that make this game unforgettable. Ladies and gentlemen, pitcher of the Tri-City Chili Peppers, Nolan Lamere. Nolan, thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. What an intro. I'm gotta live up to that.
So you play a very unique style of baseball, and we're going to get into a lot of the portions of your league. But before that, okay, take us back to the beginning, where your earliest baseball memory, where you realized this might be something you want to do and chase seriously.
All right. Do you want the long version or the short version? Because I think you guys know how baseball paths are. You know, everyone's got a crazy one for sure.
Yeah, give us
Absolutely. Listen, we love the stories. We live for it.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I'm from just north of Detroit. Born and raised there, grew up there my whole life. I was never the best player on my team growing up, ever. We had 2 Division I guys. I started at a local junior college, was my only offer out of college or out of high school. And yeah, I ended up having my junior year, I was pitching on JV. I was the ace of the JV team my junior year. I didn't get a lot of varsity reps, and then we were messing around one day. My high school coach, Bob Walmsley, one of my favorite coaches of all time. I still talk to him to this day. We had a wiffle ball game. We had a lockout from midnight to 6 a.m. practice, and we were playing wiffle ball, and I was just slinging it sidearm one day, and he said, I was striking everyone out. He goes, try it in game. I was like, you're crazy. You know, like, I've always been over the top my whole life. And next thing you know, I'm facing one of the best teams in Detroit, throwing sidearm like an idiot. No idea what I'm doing. I think I beaned like 6 guys. But yeah, I ended up figuring out it was right before playoffs. My junior year, I was going down on JV to pitch and playing on varsity still on some games. And next thing you know, it was weird. I remember it was my first like full game, not like actually practicing. He literally threw me in against, it was Grosse Pointe South, which is, if anyone from Michigan knows, very good high school team. They had college guys. Chris Getz, I think he's the GM of the White Sox now. His name's on the wall, like prestigious school. And I just beaned everyone. I remember I beaned 6 guys. And then we drew our playoff team, but we had a scrimmage against them the next day. So he's like, Nolan, I'm going to throw you. You mess with them, see what you could do, and then we'll put our Division I recruit the next day. It was, 90 plus. So I was like, all right. And I happened to go 7 innings, CG. I think I gave up 1 run, and I said, you know what, I'm going to stick with this sidearm thing. Yeah, I really figured it out from down there. Senior year, I set the Michigan high school save record. I had like 15 in 30 games or something. Every game was a close victory, so I just had a save opportunity every time. And so I think I had 15 through 30 or 40 games, whatever we played. But then from there, yeah, I just went to my local JUCO. It was kind of the only look I had. It was so late in the process. Didn't work out. I was literally living down the street at, my childhood home. I transferred to a top 5 JUCO in the country at Lansing CC. And I said, this is where I want to be. These guys are awesome. And they cut me. I got there. They cut me in a week. And so I was like, now what do I do? This kind of felt like rock. That was the first time in my life I'm like, wow, like this isn't, you don't just show up and play anymore. So I spent that whole year, I was very overweight. I was like 300 pounds at the time. And so I hit the gym every day, and I lost 70 pounds that year. And I emailed over 100 summer ball coaches, and the only guy that took a chance on me was in California. So me and my mother and my brother, we drove me out to California together. They flew back and ended up having a 1 ERA in California, and found myself at an NAI school. And just crazy enough, 3 years later, I had a good career there and grad transferred to George Mason Division One. Yeah, it was crazy, 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 crazy. I think I played 130 games every year in college. I did 6 years of college with COVID and getting cut. So yeah, I just kind of kept on getting better. I was such a late bloomer with my health, being 300 pounds at the time, coming out of high school was, but the cutting thing that was the best thing for me. It gave me another year. It gave me the ability to transfer to Division One and kind of just like understand like this is what I need to do to be a college athlete. And then went to Mason, and next thing you know, I get to Mason and I'm like, hey, I want to be a Division One coach. That's my dream job. I want to play my last year, have fun. And I ended up had that mentality all year. I'm like, hey, this is my last year of playing baseball. I'm going to work like crazy, worked really hard. That was the 1 year where I was like, every day I knew I worked, just beat myself up every day, worked hard. And next thing you know, I'm playing against Wake Forest in front of 9,000 fans, and Nick Kurtz is at second base. And, I'm like, wow, this is pretty good. I had a decent outing, struck out 2. And next thing you know, I'm getting professional offers to play for the Chicago Dogs. So kind of just a crazy, span of going from, hey, I'm going to coach. Next thing you know, we make it to the regionals. Came in the conference tournament, struck out 2, and bases loaded, 1 out. I struck out the last 2 guys to end the game. I threw my glove in the netting, almost drilled my manager. And yeah, it just kind of started my pro career after that.
Well, your college path wasn't really like a straight line. Like you said, you played at Clark University before eventually pitching at George Mason. What did that journey teach you about perseverance and adapting to the game?
I got to give a lot of credit to pitching in the Northwoods League, the college summer league. Coach Rupenthal, another one. I emailed every team in the Northwoods. I think there was 18 teams at the time. I know it's a big league now, but I emailed all 18 teams, and the only one to give me a shot was Battle Creek Bombers, and that was got to be the worst stadium you could ever see in a college or pro atmosphere. It was brutal. But it was so funny because I called every Northwoods team, and I was like, because I did a stint of like a week in the Northwoods when I committed to Clark. I'm like, I want to face good competition. I didn't do very well. I think a guy from Notre Dame hit a ball like 500 feet off me, and I was like, well, I got to get back in this league. This is good baseball. And I ended up, playing at Clark. We had a really good strength coach there, good pitching coach, and they taught me a lot. And then I'll go to the Northwoods and face all these Division One guys. And then by year 3 of the Northwoods, I'm like, hey, I'm starting to figure this out a little bit. And that really helped me to just, try and just keep working hard and just having that success against Division One pitchers when you're a NAI guy. It's, it definitely gave me a little confidence going into my seasons at Clark.
What was the biggest difference you noticed when jumping to D1 at George Mason?
For sure, like my first day at George Mason, I remember we went in the weight room and I was like at Clark, I was like, I'm fairly strong. Like, I could move a little bit of weight. And then I got to Mason, and I think I was the weakest guy on the whole roster. I was like, these guys are machines, these Division Ones, this guy's top of North Carolina, this guy's top of Virginia. So that was the big thing, and everyone just threw so hard. Our whole freshman class, like looking back at it now, man, we had Michael Salina who just hit 102 versus Penn State. I'm like, who? Like, this guy just got drafted by the Padres. We had Connor Knox who hit 96. He's with the Cubs now. Like, everyone was just throwing cheddar, and I'm sitting there like, I got a good changeup. I was not in, like, I shouldn't have been with those guys. So, but it was pretty funny.
So college baseball is full of like those bus rides, the long weekends, the long seasons. What's a moment from your college career that really sticks with you?
Oh man, I'll live and die by summer ball. I mean, just so many funny moments. Like I said, I was a summer ball grinder. I played 5 years of summer ball, which I don't even think kids do this anymore, which sucks. I know kids at George Mason, like the freshman class when I was there, they're like, oh, we don't even play summer ball. We just work out. I'm like, you guys are missing out on, like, you guys are crazy. Like, that was the most fun I've ever had in my life playing in summer ball. And even at George Mason and Clark, we had some really fun bus rides playing Mafia for, till 4 a.m., which was probably the most fun. I'm sure you guys are well aware of Mafia. Everyone knows Mafia that plays baseball. Oh, yeah. I don't know who teaches who, but everyone just knows it when you go to a new team, which is hilarious. But yeah, I remember I'm going to go back to Amsterdam. My number one bus ride was Amsterdam Mohawks, which is in the Perfect Game Collegiate League.
Okay.
I played there. Just another kind of perseverance thing. My mother moved to Amsterdam, New York, which is where my grandparents were from, and I tried to get on this team. I emailed them every year. They would never let me play. Then finally one year they called me up. They're like, look, we only take Division 1 players. I'm like, I'm looking to transfer Division 1 as my transfer portal year. I was like, look, my mom lives down the street. I don't need host family. I don't need anything. I'm like, just put me on the team. And they ended up putting me on the team. They made me try out, which was hilarious looking back because I think I gave up one run through 25 innings that summer. Yeah, it was we won the championship. We had a 3-hour bus ride back, and oh my gosh, we pulled an all-nighter. We won the championship. We dogpiled in Batavia, New York, middle of nowhere, New York. No one's ever heard of. And oh my gosh, it was all the parents were giving us coolers, and and I got some funny videos of us dancing. I hit the splits on the bus, and our coach was going crazy dancing. Yeah, we ended up staying until 6 a.m. because everyone left the next day, and we never saw each other ever again. You know, that's how summer ball works, which
Yeah.
is crazy reality. You know, you just grow a huge bond of brothers for 2 or 3 months, and then one day, like we win the championship, we did a 6 a.m. thing. Everyone woke up, and I haven't seen some of those guys since, but they're brothers to me. Like on social media, you know, comments on their stuff. That is just, you know, the one last ride was, you know, that was a fun one.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. So, pitchers often talk about the moment when the game slows down. Did you ever experience that during your college career?
Yeah, I think a thing that I could really look back and say that something I excelled with in my college career was I was a pretty smart pitcher. I never hit 90 miles per hour. I still haven't to this day, but I played 3 years professional. I played Division 1. I'm just like a funky sidearm guy that could pitch really well. But just looking back at my career and having so many games and like appearances and suiting up like over 100 with the Northwoods, I played 72 every year. Clark and George Mason, we played 50 plus. So I was getting at least 120 games in each year. But in looking back at my biggest outings, you know, I feel like I was really prepared. Like I was never nervous going into, you know, the winning runs on second base when we played. It was like 1 a.m. the A10 tournament in Richmond, which is funny because that's where I live now. It was we played Dayton, and we had the winning run was on second base, and the tying run was on third with 1 out. And I remember getting the ball, and everyone thought the game was over. You know, 1 out, guys on second. But I really wasn't nervous. And I remember walking up, I'm like, I should feel a little nervous. But I really wasn't. I was so prepared for this moment. And, you know, George Mason and Ryan Ritchie and Sean Kemp did such a good job with the scouting reports all year long. That's why we had such good pitching staff. Like, we had a bunch of old guys that were all really good. Our closer was up to 100. He's with the Blue Jays now. Me, and we had Kyle Smith, a fifth year. Like we were just an old team that was really good. And I feel like all those moments of me just playing so many games, like these college coaches always say, just have the guy work out, see if he could hit, you know, 96, 97, then he'll get drafted. It's like I'm on the complete other side of this because I was prepared to pitch in every situation, from pitching in the Northwoods for 3 years, pitching in the Mohawks, pitching 3 years at, you know, Clark University, and pitching in the middle of nowhere Battle Creek, the middle of nowhere New York. You know, I just had so many games, so many different, you know, atmospheres. I was ready for everything, and that's really what carried on in my pro career as well.
So, with all of that preparation, after college, you entered independent baseball and played with teams like the Chicago Dogs, like you mentioned, the Winnipeg Goldeyes, and the Charleston Dirty Birds. What was the biggest adjustment going from college ball into the independent league grind?
Oh man, so it was a huge difference for sure, especially when a guy in my situation, who I was a late bloomer. I think I graduated college as a 6 year at like 22. So the draft was, you know, me, and I had an advisor at the time when I started doing good at Division 1. You know, guys were like, hey, this guy's not bad, you know. But we kind of talked about it, and I was like, look, I'm getting independent offers, you know, like what are the odds? Obviously the goal was always affiliate. Like, what do you think I could slip into a single A club? You know, I know I could pitch there. And but yeah, just it was really a huge adjustment for me because I remember my first game with the Chicago Dogs. You know, no one tells you about independent ball, no one tells you about pro ball or how to do it or how to get into it. I just kind of had a guy who knew a guy, and the Chicago Dogs needed a pitcher. Next thing you know, I'm on the phone with the Red Sox Hall of Famer Butch Hobson, who is my favorite manager of all time. And Butch texted me. He called me up. He's like, "Hey, Nolan, I like you. When could you get here?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, am I on the team? Like, I'm like, you want me to play? Like, what do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, I need you to pitch. What do you mean?" Like, he was all yelling at me. And I was like, "All right, I'll be there." But it was pretty funny. Butch Hobson that was a cool one because my dad was a huge Butch Hobson fan growing up, so that was kind of a full circle moment for me. And my dad was more excited than I was. I think that I signed my first pro contract, and but yeah, it was crazy because I remember walking out the tunnel. If anyone's ever been to Chicago Dogs Stadium, it's the most beautiful independent field in the world. Like it is, that's a big league park, AAA big league. It is gorgeous, and there's like huge signs in right field, the left field. It's like unbelievable. It's the most beautiful park I've played in by far. And I remember walking out there for a pregame, and there was a lot of fans. I didn't expect it. I didn't know how many people. I was like, this is pretty good. There was a huge crowd, beautiful stadium. We have the coolest uniforms. I got a hot dog on my hat. I'm like, this is sweet. And then next thing you know, I look at the lineup card, comes out an hour before, and there's 7 big leaguers in it. I'm like, these are the guys I grew up watching. I'm like, I got to pitch to this. Like, I had no idea what I was doing there. But just yeah, the takes were unbelievable. These guys, they knew what pitch I was throwing before I even threw it. These. I remember I faced Chris Herman, was one of the first guys I faced. John Broxton with the Brewers and Mets. Guys like, I'm a Mets fan. So I was literally growing up watching these guys, and I was like, this is pretty cool. I get a chance to see what I got against these guys. But it was just a huge adjustment going from facing some young college kid with all the tools in the world to the American Association, where all those guys had AAA time and they're trying to get to Mexico or Korea now. And, just completely different ballgame. Unbelievably different.
You talk about, independent baseball. It kind of sounds like a roller coaster, new teams, new cities, short notice contracts. What's the craziest welcome to indie ball moment that you had?
Oh, man, there's so many of them. So many. Indie ball is crazy because, especially in the American Association, it was all, there's each team had 2 or 3 big leaguers. Like, I remember my welcome to indie ball moment was probably the first minute I walked in. I drove from Virginia, from Mason all the way up to Chicago, and I literally get there. I drove like through the night because he's like, I need you to pitch like ASAP. Someone got injured. Funny enough, Aiden McIntosh, who's a huge influencer now, but he was retiring. They had an injury. He's like, Butch Hobson's like, I need you right now, and his thick Southern accent. Had to drive up there. But I remember I was in the outfield. I literally got my stuff. Batting practice was going on, so like I was getting my uniform, getting everything situated, getting a locker. So I run out there late. I'm handshaking everyone. I'm going from left field, center field, handshaking everyone. I go to center field. There's this big dude with a big old beard, and he's just by himself in center. So I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's like, good, Brian. I'm like, nice to meet you. It's all quiet. I was like, so where'd you go to college? And he's like, he forgot because he's been in college in like 15 years. He was 40. And he was like, oh, I went to Charleston in like 95 or what. I'm like, that's what I was like. What? I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, man. And then the next thing you know, this other guy is like, oh, where did we get you from? And I was like, oh, George Mason. He goes, like the college? I was like, yeah, what do you mean? I was the only college guy in that whole staff. And I was like, well, it was crazy. I couldn't believe it. It was just such you look at the roster and I'm like, wow, like this guy's like first rounder, this guy, third rounder, New York Yankees, this guy, Padres, fifth rounder, this guy just got released from AAA. Now he's a Chicago Dog. It's like, I was the only college guy in that whole pitching staff at the time. And it was just like a crazy, crazy, crazy moment. We had our catcher who was awesome, was Brad Lidge's cousin, Ryan Lidge, one of my good friends. And I'm just like, man, this is crazy. Everything was like, what am I doing here? It was pretty cool.
See, the way you make it sound is like, we know independent ball is competitive, but to have that many major leaguers, that sets a different, competitive level for even independent ball. So what kind of mentality do you have to develop to survive independent baseball where every outing could determine your next opportunity?
That was a huge thing too. Just going up and, you get there and, obviously college, you're on the team the whole year, doesn't matter. I remember we had one game where we were up like 10-0 and we threw out a guy. He walked like 4 in a row and they called down, we're 4 hours in this game. We're killing him. They rated it down. It's like Nolan next batter. I haven't moved in 3 hours. So I'm like, oh crap, get going, get going, get going. And I got in there. Luckily, it was actually one of my best outings. I had so much adrenaline. I struck out Keon Broxton on 3 changeups, which was awesome. I still have that video, because I grew up, the Mets traded for Keon Broxton. I was really excited for him. Just to go up there and I struck him out on 3 changeups. It was really cool. And I have the ball still. I was like, that was one of my favorite outings ever, from just sitting down in the cold with a hoodie on to 5 pitches. All right, let's go. Let's go face a bases loaded MLB, vet, and did well. But then the next day, that guy that walked 3 got released. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, guys could lose a job from it. Just hit me. I'm like, whoa, he's not here anymore. It was just crazy. So that mentality after that, I was like, wow, this is no longer just development. This is it. It's performance based. Whatever you got to do, it's performance. Some guys don't even throw before the game. Some guys show up and just put on the uniform. Some guys show up 3 hours early and work out and cold plunge. It's really, you do whatever you want. It's professional baseball. And that was a huge adjustment period when it hit me. When one of my friends got released, I was like, oh my God, he's out of a job now. So it was definitely a wow moment for me, just seeing that. And obviously, independent ball is crazy, and that's just the norm and how it goes.
How do you navigate that mentality when you see one of your own teammates, now they're gone after, essentially one bad outing, what kind of additional pressure or thought process does that add for you, and how do you navigate that?
It definitely adds a pressure. Obviously everyone in professional baseball has bad outings. I've had plenty. That's why I bounced around so much. But luckily I've always had a job in my last 3 years. But for sure. I remember there was one inning I just didn't have it. I pitched a lot. It was my 4th outing of the week and couldn't throw a strike. And I just remember a guy ripped a 2-0 double off the wall. I'm just thinking in my head, I'm you always have that feeling wow, we have a pretty good bullpen. If you're not performing, you got to figure it out, and that's just how it works for sure. So just trying to turn on that mentality when you get the phone rings in the bullpen and you get the call that your name is, you got to really lock in. It's a lot different than college. Let's try this out. Let's see if this is better, but no, it was always go time for sure.
So I have a quick question, because you don't hear a lot about it, but what are indie ball practices with y'all playing so many games throughout the week?
So there is no practice.
Oh, okay.
I played 125 games last year. It's kind of a type of thing where you kind of get in the group chat, you might get a text hey, be on the line at 3 and do what you got to do. If you need to throw. If you need a recovery day, recover. So the indie ball schedule is you get every Monday off and then you play Tuesday to Sunday. So say if there's a game at 7 o'clock, I'm probably arriving there at 2, hang out in the locker room. Some guys get coffee, hang out, and then on the line at 3, we get our throwing in as a pitcher. From 3 to 4, hitters are in the cage upstairs, getting their work in. And then if you're the home team, you're 3 hours for batting practice. You're there. You have to be in the outfield shagging as a pitcher. And then the away team will get 2 hours before batting practice. And then we get an hour to everyone go showers, relax, get ready, and then they prep the field, and then it's game time. So it's kind of a crazy schedule. Like I said, you could do whatever you want to do. Honestly, we got guys. This year in New York, I think we had the whole pitching staff. When you're home, you got 2 hours to kill before the game. After you get your throwing in, you shag balls. You got to wait for BP and the field. So we got 2 hours. We had a putt in right field. We were playing the Masters almost every game. We were playing putt and just yelling at each other, trying to hit putts. And it was so much fun. That's some of my favorite memories from professional baseball, was all of us stealing balls from the kids line and just, hitting balls before the game.
So now you're playing a whole other level of baseball. You're playing for the Tri-City Chili Peppers, which has become famous for cosmic baseball. You guys play under black lights. What was the first reaction when you heard you'd be playing baseball under black lights with glowing equipment in the dark?
Well, I'm a glow emoji this year. They put me on the glow emojis, and so
okay, my bad.
There's a huge rivalry here. It's Peppers or emojis, so everyone's got to pick a side, and I think the glow emojis are a lot of fun. That's kind of our MO, is we're the fun team. The Peppers are all business strong, but the emojis are fun. We're a lot of fun. We do a lot of fun stuff. So yeah, I think the emojis are going to be very popular this year. We got a good squad. But yeah, it kind of hit me. I spend my off seasons in Arizona, so I was down there training. I train with a lot of big leaguers. That's why I moved down there, just to learn with those guys, see what they do. But I just turned 26, and that's kind of a year where you gotta, you got a feeling if you're gonna make it or not. At when you're 26, like I was at the point where I'm like, I'm really good. I know I could pitch an independent ball as long as I want. I don't think I'm ever getting moved up. My best case scenario was Mexico, which is even more cutthroat than indie balls. Um, I just randomly got a call from our skipper Ray Ortega, and he called me out of the blue. I don't even remember how he got my number, but he just called me and said, "What do you think about cosmic baseball?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, come on. But I heard him out, and I'm really glad I did, because at first I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do this, but then I hopped on the phone with Jason Dean, who's the voice of Cosmic Baseball, and his first question to me, which was caught me off guard. Every independent call is like, "Hey, how you can help the team? Like, what's your strengths? How good's this? How good's that? Are you good against this hitter? Are you bad against it's all business." Jason called me and he said, "Nolan, when did this game destroy you?" And I'm like, "Wow." I was like, "That's a deep question." I was like, well, the last 3 years, I'm the biggest baseball nut, biggest baseball fan I know my whole life, and the last 3 years, when you think of baseball as a business, it kind of wears you out mentally about the game. It's like, well, why didn't this team want me? Why did this team trade me? Why did this team release me? Why did this team pick me up and then release me? And then this team, there's so many moves in any ball, so it's definitely like mentally like tough. So I told him what I'm telling you guys right now. I was like, yeah, the last 3 years of, I know I could play here and I didn't, or, I think I could play here and I'm not there, and working my ass off to do this and do that. But I told Jason that story. He said, well, if you come here, he goes, you're going to have the most fun of your life playing baseball. You're going to have the most best time of your life. And I think you should do it. And I had a few other buddies actually who just signed. So I texted them and they're like, hey, we're super excited. And, I said, let's do it. It sounds like a blast. I have a lot of buddies who play banana ball. So I think this opportunity was right for me, and I said, let's do it. And next thing you know, I'm back in Richmond.
So walk us through what it feels like to pitch in a cosmic baseball game. I know that you've been doing spring training this week. What's it like compared to pitching in a normal baseball game?
It's the energy. The energy's crazy. Just everyone's outside the dugout, everyone's celebrating, dancing. It's a lot more relaxed for sure. It's not like, hey, if I don't execute this pitch, I'm in trouble. It's more so, hey man, just throw the pitch, right? We're all having fun out here. We're not trying to be the best baseball players. We're trying to be the most entertaining baseball players now. So, it's a huge shift for me. And our first cosmic practice was actually indoors. They brought the lights to an indoor facility, and I was like shocked. I was like, whoa, the lights go out and the ball is so bright. It's glowing like crazy. So actually, I do have I can see if I can find a ball. I have a black light. I might have to put it on screen for you guys. Yeah. I'll set it up for you guys. But yeah, it's something else. Like, I mean, I've seen pictures and stuff. I'm like, oh, it looks cool. But it's true when they say the pictures don't justify what it looks like in real life. Like, the jersey it's pitch black, and the jersey is just like radiating. It's kind of like, you ever go laser tagging or bowling? Yeah. It's like that times 100, because it's made to wear and that stuff. The ball is made to glow. So it's crazy just slinging a pitch, and I'm like, whoa, that looks so cool. It's just something. It just always awes me. And we've been doing this for a few weeks now in spring training, so it's every time the lights go off, it's still like really cool to me.
Is it harder to locate pitches or signs?
The catchers have the I'm sure you've seen some MLB guys that have the nail polish.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah. So that helps, and like I said, it's made for blacklight, so those are pretty easy to see. The fingers. Yeah. Other than that, no, the ball's a Rawlings ball. We're sponsored by Rawlings this year, and yeah, it's pretty neat. It's really cool how they incorporate, we have a lot of professionals out here, and a lot of guys with my story, college guys. We have former Royal, former National, so it's a lot of good ball players out here, and being able for them to compete and pitch black pretty much is pretty. It's pretty neat what they're doing. It's very thought out. The game's very smooth. Seeing a shortstop field a one hopper laser and pitch black and just sling this like glowing ball across the diamond is like the coolest thing in the world to me. I love it.
That's awesome. So cosmic baseball kind of blends entertainment with the game. How do you guys balance the fun atmosphere while still maintaining, a higher level of competitive play?
So our spring training is pretty similar to professional baseball, like what we were talking about. It's like you show up and you get what you got to get done. You go through your process and whatever your personal stretching, throwing, all your plans, what you've done all offseason, you do what you want. So it's very similar to that, but you show up an hour early and we have an entertainment meeting with the entertainment crew and the people in the booth. And next thing you know, we're going through dances and, going through some stuff that we got planned in Jacksonville this weekend. And so it's kind of crazy. You show up and, we're doing our big introduction, we're going through the whole team coming out of the tunnel, and we want everything to be perfect. And so, yeah, we have entertainment for an hour. Then after that, her name's Ro. Ro is awesome. She used to work with the Dodgers Entertainments on production. She's awesome. She's really fun to work with, and she's got really good experience, and she's very thoughtful. Yeah, we spent an hour with her, and then she's like, all right, guys, see ya. Then we play real baseball. Yeah, it's definitely different for sure. It's crazy because, like I said, coming from independent ball the last 3 years, you show up and you get your work in, because if not, if you slack, you go in the game, you're probably going to slack. So there's a lot of guys getting their work in, grinders, in independent ball. And next thing you know, I show up my first day here, I'm ready to, I'm still in that independent mode. Next thing you know, there's 4 guys making TikToks to my right. I'm like, what are we doing here? But then I realized this is, this is our new job. We're trying to grow the game. We're trying to grow our personal brands. And, that's honestly probably more beneficial than stretching now. That's what's, it's pretty crazy. But no, it's so much fun. Yeah, those first few days I was calling my dad. I'm like, Dad, what am I getting myself into? These guys are just TikToking for hours, but now I'm doing it too. I love it. It's so much fun. It's a huge change, and I love it. So it's the guys we have are great. We really do have a family. We're only 3 weeks in, and we have 50 guys that are just awesome. Like, we're from top to bottom, guys that all love baseball. Some of the most entertaining dudes. We got a guy with a glowing mustache. We got, it's crazy. Yeah, he's awesome. He's our 4-hole. He's a big first baseman. He hits bombs. He's got a glowing mustache. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, we got characters all around.
So I know the tour starts this week. What are you looking forward to that first game in Jacksonville?
I'm super excited to get down there and just see a crowd with the Cosmic. We're practicing outside. It's just us, and having a whole crowd glow with all the gear and the lights, the confetti. Like, we haven't seen the full production yet, all these new guys. Like, the returners have seen it, and they're really doing a good job of training us new guys on how to be an entertainment baseball player. Like, Breland, who's kind of our so-and-so captain, he's been at Party Animal, he's been a Banana, he's been doing this for a while, and he's a big part of telling us what to do and what it's going to be like and what to expect. But I'm just super excited to get back in that atmosphere of a sold-out stadium, under the cosmic lights. It's going to be super awesome. We have a really good crew of people putting on a good show. That's what it's all about now. I pitched 2 innings yesterday in our spring training game, and I think I gave 1 or 2 hits. And if in independent ball, I'd be very upset. I gave up 2 hits. I think I gave 1 run through 2, which is okay. But I would be upset in independent ball. But here I'm like, that was sick. My left fielder just did a cartwheel and caught a ball. I'm like, what are we doing? But so it's more so about putting on a show, I think, is, which I'm excited about. One of my roommates gave up a 500-foot nuke, but seeing a glow ball just disappear into the night sky, I'm like, I want to give one up now. Like, that was awesome. It was so cool. So just being able to see that in front of a big atmosphere, I'm super excited.
So we're a little partial, but we know that this is sold out because we actually have our tickets for the game this week. But stadium, we're excited to see the stadium blacked out. At the same time, we've never been to a Glow baseball game. So what can you tell us about the upcoming game that we should be looking at and looking forward to? And I want to know more about it. Like, what's planned? What can you tell us
without getting in trouble?
All right.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
I was about to say, I don't know. I might get in trouble if I say a little too much, but we have a lot planned for sure. We have cues for celebrations. We have a home run celebration. Everyone's got their own individual double celebrations. Everything's going to be celebrated. A strikeout. Everyone's going to be celebrating. Strike 3, the catcher's slinging the ball around, just throwing, and you're seeing a glow baseball fly through the night light. So it's going to be a good production. The first 4 innings are going to be in the day, and then the rest of the game is at night. So you're going to see some, we have some pretty solid starters. I'm slated to go, I think I'm pitching Friday, 3rd inning. It's, first tour stop. We have it all scripted out, who's pitching what, just because we don't know. No one knows, we're all new. So we don't know how everyone's going to pitch. We've seen spring training, but that's also spring training. But yeah, we're going to see some very wacky stuff. We have some new rules. Be prepared for the second inning. I'm going to say that. I'm not going to say what it is, but you're going to be like, what in the world is going on? It's awesome. There's some really cool. I'm sure if you seen any games from last year, we got the backwards inning where a guy hits a base hit and he runs to third. You know, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I saw
So,
that. How do you relearn the game? I saw that and I was like,
yeah, it's
I would totally forget that I need to run to third.
oh my gosh, it was so funny. In our scrimmage was this guy just hits one in the right field, nice little base hit. He flips his bat and runs to first, and they're playing the Cha Cha Slide song, and they go reverse, reverse, and he just books it to third. You know? It was so funny. It was awesome. It was so funny, and of course the right fielder throws him out to third base. It was hilarious, and our guys running around, tagging home, and going to first, and so it's goofy. It's really something, you know, it's very entertaining, especially as a pitcher when I'm watching for most of the game. It's very entertaining.
So you have any secret dance moves you've been practicing?
I'm not the biggest dancer, but I do have a few things I've been working on, which I don't know how it's going to look.
Because I feel like pitchers
be on social
have it difficult because y'all are on the mound where it's not really flat, kind of. So that's why I was like, these pitchers, when they do it, I'm like, how are y'all doing it?
Yeah, it's so we don't really dance too much. If you're like the Bananas, that's their thing, right?
Yeah.
They do a dance, they get together, they do a dance, and then they throw the pitch. Like we don't do any of that, but we celebrate everything, you know? So I got a few things, and my jersey is actually the exclamation point is my number. So I'm really working on that brand. So I'm working on some props right now. I'm working on some tables to smash. I'm just gonna try to be an exclamation point out there.
That is
So
That's
my
gonna
goal.
be so cool.
Okay, I have a
So-
question. Did you get to pick your number?
So funny story, you know, a number, especially if you're doing entertainment baseball, obviously a number is always a big deal, right? But so I was the last guy to sign in all of Cosmic. I was the 51st guy to sign this year. Ray, like I said, Ray called me up, and Ray used to coach the Blue Crabs, which is an independent ball team. So I had Ray's contact. I contacted him a few years ago. We kind of always stay in touch because he's just a good contact to have. He's a really great guy. And then he called me. He's like, look, Nolan, like, I know you got to think about it, but we have one spot left. That's what he told me. I'm like, all right. I was like, all right, let's do it, you know, and I had some calls with, you know, the GM, the owner, and everyone, and I did it. So then he's like, all right, great. He goes, I hate to rush you. He's like, I need a number by tonight. I'm like, all right. Well, I said, well, I want 7. I want 34 for Nolan Ryan. Like, he's like, give me your top 5, right? And so I said 7. I said 34 Nolan Ryan. I said 66 was my mom's favorite number. And then I said 19. I was 19 in high school. I'm from Detroit, you know, Steve Eiserman. So I'm like, all right, any of those 4 will work. You know, that's fine. He calls me back. He goes, hey, they're all taken. I'm like, no way. 4 numbers are not taken. I was like, so he's like, oh, well, what do you want? I'm looking at all the numbers. I'm like, man, none of these look good. And next thing you know, I'm watching Space Jam. I'm like, there it is. I said, give me the exclamation point, the Tasmanian Devil. I was like, that's what I want to be. That's what I want. And yeah, I just went with it.
That is the coolest thing ever. Like
The jerseys are awesome.
listen. I was trying to shop. Now I know he's a glow emoji because I was leading towards them, and now I have favorite player now. See, my wife goes
Here, let me see if you could cut. I'll set it up for you. I'll set up the black
Yeah.
light and I'll hold
Yeah.
up the jersey.
Yeah.
It glows.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll go grab her.
Dude, exclamation mark, greatest thing ever.
That is cool.
That's how you make a statement. I'm just saying. You get striked out, and then you just turn around and just point.
Yes.
I gotta tell him
Yeah.
with a boom sound effect.
Oh, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Like, hold on. That is like low key. What's your number? Exclamation mark. I bring the hype.
Here comes the boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. And then just giant like cartoon exclamation mark graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna tell him. Like, we just came up with some marketing ideas for you.
All right. I forgot we're in the day, so it's not really gonna glow very well. But I'll try. Yeah, it stinks. If it was at night in pitch black, these
Don't
things
worry.
are
We just
bright.
came up with some ideas for you.
All right, let's do it. I got the
So
black light here.
when you get a strikeout, you just need to turn around, and they played the boom sound effect with the giant cartoon exclamation mark, and you just point at the exclamation mark. It's
Yeah,
not
funny enough,
dancing,
that's-
and then there you go.
Yeah, funny enough, for the scoreboard, let me see here. The scoreboard, they took a picture of me, and they're gonna put me upside down. If you can see that,
Oh,
for like the exclamation point.
That's
So that was
epic.
pretty funny. So that's pretty
That'd be
funny.
cool.
But
See, they should
this is
Photoshop
them right
one
here.
of
This
those.
is there's the jersey there.
That
This
is
is the ice cream jersey, the
that
glow.
is fire.
oh, that is gonna glow
So-
so nice.
That is
And then
epic.
this one, we're these are going to be on sale soon too, which I'm really excited about. But this is our
Ooh,
daytime. This is like our
Dude,
iconic one right here.
I want
that
that one.
that that
That's
one's
So,
clean.
nice.
You
I even
know,
so I'm
like
super excited about these two.
the font for
But
the
yep.
exclamation
yeah,
point's even cool. That's awesome.
yeah.
So I'm super excited. We're getting our other two. They're in Jacksonville right now. They're going to meet us there. But we have 4 jerseys this year, and
That
so
is epic.
super
Low
excited
key,
to rock these
I
all
don't
year.
like pinstripes, but the pinstripe one, that's amazing.
I agree. I think these are awesome,
Yeah.
especially at night. The pins all glow, so it looks really good. But yeah, everything glows really well. I got one hat right here. We got a bunch of hats, but this is our OG
Ooh,
hat.
See, yeah, that's
So
the logo that
it's
won me
different.
on a shirt. Yeah.
I
I
like
love
how he's a pitcher
Dorothy.
too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we have some really cool shirts, and I'm sending a bunch to my family and everything. We got all the tour shirts that are going to be there in Jacksonville, which we haven't even seen yet, but we've seen pictures and they look great. So all the merch is pretty cool.
That is awesome. I like those jerseys.
Yeah.
Who designs them? You guys have like a whole team, or
I,
just like one person, or
I was also curious too when I saw the ice cream one. I'm like, wow, that's neat. That's a pretty cool one. But it is 3 and 2. 3 and 2 is our brand.
okay?
So yeah, 3 and 2 is the manufacturer, and they got everything to glow, which is cool. Yeah,
That is
looks great. The
awesome.
sprinkles glow, the blue glows, the pink glows. So
That is
I
cool.
do have sneak peek too of my cleats this year. I got these
Ooh,
crazy cleats, so they're all crystalled out.
that's
Epic.
gonna
So
sparkle really nice.
yeah, definitely want to stand out there. That's for sure. That's the goal. So yeah,
So
super excited.
another super interesting part of your career is working with a product designer and developer with Birdman Bats. How did that opportunity come about?
So I started in college. I have always just loved baseball gloves. I just think they're awesome. I always like seeing everyone's different baseball gloves, models, whatever. I'm a huge Mets fan. I grew up a David Wright fan. And my first like real baseball glove was the David Wright model, the DW5. And I guess it was a rare glove at the time. I had it for like 5 years, and down the road, I had a teammate. He's like, "Whoa, like I didn't know you had the rare David Wright model." I'm like, "I don't know. I just like David Wright, and I bought it. Like I don't know." And next thing you know, there's a huge market for baseball gloves, which I didn't know. There's a huge. It's kind of like shoes, which that's how I explain to people. I'm like, shoe heads, shoe collector, Jordan collectors. It's the same thing, especially for pitchers. That's the only cool thing we could have, in regular baseball. So um, yeah, I was in Myrtle Beach playing summer ball, and now with my new info of knowing there's rare gloves, I bought a Charlie Brown edition glove from my teammate. And I knew it was rare, but I didn't know it was that rare. And this Charlie Brown glove was one of 50. And this was my Grail glove. It's back in New York. I have it. It's with my mom. I'm not allowed to play catch with it anymore. It's probably it's for glove people. It's the Grail of the Grail glove. They probably go for over 2 grand almost now. They're numbered to 50. It's got a Charlie Brown on it. I wish I had it with me still, but that's in the case right now back home. But yeah, it's that's kind of what started all. Then I made a glove Instagram page because I just wanted to showcase my cool Charlie Brown glove. And next thing you know, I was learning so much from all these people about rare gloves, and I went to my local hole-in-the-wall store. I bought 2 Ozzy Albies gloves that were really rare, and then I ended up selling them for a lot of money. And next thing you know, I'm like, wait a minute, there's a market of like buying, trading, selling. Then I bought another rare glove. I traded it for a Nike glove, and next thing you know, I'm messaging with minor league players. I'm like, hey, if you give me your glove, I'll give you this rare one. And it just kind of blew up from there, and now I'm up to 5,000 followers of all just glove followers, which is hilarious to me still. And yeah, I ended up having a buddy because he knew I was just kind of buying, trading, selling, an account kind of just for fun. Next thing you know, I had a buddy of a buddy say, hey, Birdman Bats is doing gloves and they need a glove guy. And, they want a glove guy who knows a lot about gloves and different patterns and leather and everything. And I said, well, perfect. I interviewed with them and it was like a match made in heaven. I love Birdman. The whole company's awesome. Gary, the owner, is awesome. And they're just great people. They fly me out to spring training every year now. And, we went to the ABCA convention together. He flew me out to Ohio this year. And it's been a lot of fun. Just, trying to build a whole, now that I've been buying, selling, trading, I get to design my own gloves and sell them to people. And it's a lot of fun watching people used gloves that I make. It's really cool to me.
So we checked out some of the gloves. My personal favorite of the ones that you had shown was the Chucky one. When designing a glove, what are the most important elements that you personally like to focus on? Is it balance? Is it is it the feel? Is it the webbing design? What goes into that?
So the cool part about Birdman is there's a lot of glove companies out there. There's, you see all these small companies you probably never heard of. The big ones with Wilson, Rawlings. But with Birdman, we kind of sat down together and said, like, all right, well, we have awesome bats. Ozzy Albies uses them. Pablo Sandoval uses them. They're all stars use them every year. We got about 5 or 10 big leaguers swinging our bats. But I said we need a high quality glove. So we found a really, really nice manufacturer. They're Japanese kit, super, super high end and like well trusted by MLB guys. So it's a very high quality glove. And that was my first choice. If we're doing new gloves, we really wanted high quality leather. And then from there, we kind of it's very personal because we are so small in the glove. We're about 14 months in right now to the glove. So it's nice where Gary could put me in a group chat with a client or a pro guy, and I'll be like, all right, well, what do you use? What pattern? And then we go from there. I'm like, well, what do you want in a glove? How do you want it to close? And so we could really be very like personal with these gloves. And like, okay, well, this guy used the Troy Tulowitzki model his whole career. And the Troy Tulowitzki model is a shallow pocket, easy for transfers, and guys that like a ramp of a ball and get the ball out quick. I'm like, all right, well, let's make you that. Let's give you the Troy Tulowitzki cross web. What colors do you want on it? And then we could get crazy, like the Chucky glove. We could put any logos, whatever you want on it. You want a pattern. I had a guy, we signed my teammate actually, Kenny Sura. We signed him, and his knuckleball's called the Yoshi. So we're gonna make a Yoshi egg glove for him this year, and that's his thing. So super excited for that. Kenny's an awesome guy, and he's gonna have a great year this year with the Tigers. I'm super excited for him. But we could make these gloves super personalized to them. It's stuff that if they go with some of these other big companies, they can't do that. So it's really cool that we could make whatever we want. Like I had a buddy named Jason. We put a hockey mask on his glove for Jason, and it was really cool that he's out there pitching with a Jason mask on his glove. It's like really cool to me, that we could personalize these gloves like, no one else.
Yeah, I really like the Burr one with the frozen baseballs. Like that's a cool effect.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, we're trying to be as crazy as we could get. We had a really good spring training this year. We sold about, I want to say 60 or 70 gloves to minor leaguers that are going to use them in affiliate baseball this year. And we signed Kenny. We signed my buddy Connor Whitaker, a Florida State teammate of mine. We have Cam Hill, who's going to probably be in the big leagues for the Rays this year. He's going to start in AAA. So the quality's there. It's cool to have guys like my buddy Cam Hill is a guy I train with. He's using all my gloves. He sent me a picture of him striking out someone in spring training with my glove. And I'm like, I feel like I did it. I feel like I was there,
That's amazing.
It's really fun. Just doing this and having guys have ideas and come up to me with ideas, and we bring them to life in a baseball glove.
Well, so we've only got a few more questions before we get into some rapid fire little fun questions. What advice would you give to young players whose path to professional baseball might not be the traditional one?
Well, I've done a handful of lessons back in my hometown, and so I do love coaching youth players. It is a blast. I think I enjoy it more than the kids do. But my advice is anyone could do it. If I could do it, if you watched me when I was 9-10 years old, I bet you'd say there's no way he's the one that's going to play professional baseball. And if I could do it, anyone could do it because I was always the slowest. I never threw the hardest. If I could play 3 years professionally and get paid to play and now get paid to throw glow-in-the-dark baseballs, then anyone can, but it's tough. It's for sure tough. There's a lot of days where I didn't want to go work out. I didn't want to eat right. I didn't want to throw this. I didn't want to stay and do extra reps. But I had to because I was so behind. I was always out of shape. I was always this guy who didn't throw hard. There's days at junior college in the middle of Detroit, I was just running around the baseball field because I was the slowest guy and I wasn't going to pitch because I couldn't do the sprints. And so I'd stay afterwards, and next thing you know, I ended up being able to do the sprints. We had to do way too much running looking back at it. But, it's something we had to do. And yeah, it was, losing 70 pounds was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but I had to do it because I love baseball. If you want it, and it's the most important thing of your life is baseball, and you really, really want to do it, it's there. Anyone could do it. So you might as well take it. So yeah, it's just all about how bad you want.
So when you look back on your career years from now, what would make you say it was all worth it?
It was 100% all worth it. And it's for the reasons of just how many people I've met throughout the country, and like it's 100% worth it. I wouldn't want to do anything else. Looking back at it, I've had people be like, "Why are you playing independent baseball? It doesn't pay much." But it was 100% the right choice for me. Like I was like, oh, I could just go into coaching and start work my way up in the coaching ranks and work my way to be a Division I head coach. But it just being able to play and the experiences I've had it was all worth it for me. And now that I'm doing this opportunity, which is going to be a blast this next 9 months of this tour, I mean, I think I'm very happy with all the choices I make. And just even last night, we were up till 1 a.m. Just me and 10 guys. I'm living with 10 guys in this huge house, and we're playing games till 1 a.m. on the video games, and we're eating pizza and just having a blast. It's like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, so I'm very happy with how this is going, and it's just a blast here.
So we got some like fun little rapid fire fun questions for you before we go ahead and let you go.
All right.
So now knowing you're a Mets fan, favorite MLB pitcher growing up?
Pitcher growing up at DeGrom, but I also have to put an asterisk with Nolan Ryan because I was named after him.
Okay. So hold on. Mom or dad picked your name?
A funny story. My mom wanted me to be Clay. My brother's name's Chase. That's my mom's maiden name, Chase, family name, Chase. So Clay would match, right? Chase and Clay.
Right.
I guess from what I was told, I wasn't there yet, obviously, but my dad said, let's just call him Dirt at that point, which is hilarious to me. But so I guess I have my great grandma's maiden name is Dolan, and then my dad's obviously a huge baseball fan. He seen Nolan Ryan pitch in person, so my mom said, all right, he's gonna say yes to Nolan. Dolan's close enough. Let's name him Nolan. So kind of a group effort there.
That's epic. All right. So if you could borrow 5 pitches from any pitcher in the world at any point in baseball, which 5 pitches would you borrow from who?
Man, 5 pitches. So like a fastball of something. All right, let's do fastball Nolan Ryan. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, fastball Nolan Ryan. All right, and 5. Ooh, 5. This is tough here. There's so many to choose from right now. Let me go with I'm gonna give a crazy one here. I'm gonna go with Chris Stavinsky's changeup for ball knowers. Ball knowers know.
Yeah.
Chris was my catch partner all off season. Oh man, that thing is something else.
Okay.
The circle of death, he calls it. That's a MLB grade changeup right there.
Yeah.
We'll go there. All right. Well, I definitely need a slider now. Can I go with Adam Ottavino? One of the greatest. His prime slider.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some funky ones there. All right, so I don't know if I need 5 pitches if I'm throwing these 3.
Yeah,
but,
I was gonna say those 3 might be enough.
I'm not even going to.
I'll throw in a Revere cutter. Anyone could use that cutter. All right.
I'm definitely nope. I'm just staying in the dugout.
And then I'm gonna end it with my buddy Kenny. I'm gonna get Kenny's knuckleball. If you know, you know. It's the hardest knuckleball in history, and he's and I don't think anyone's hitting that one.
I don't think anybody hits knuckleballs anyway.
I think that's the best selection that we've had from a pitcher.
I think I'd do okay with those 5
Yeah.
if I could throw it in the zone.
Well, so of your pitches, which ones do you like seeing the most under that glowing, action?
I love them all, but just a fastball. It just looks so cool. I think a lot of guys just love throwing it under the lights. It just looks so cool. I'm gonna say my sinker. I love my sinker. I'm a sidearm guy. I got a funky sinker, and I like throwing my sinker under the lights. It's definitely cool getting a ground ball. That's the type of guy I am. So.
Okay.
That teammate that if you could get one strikeout against, who would it be? Any teammate that you've ever had?
Any teammate I've ever had. Let me think here. I faced one of my college teammates in pro ball this last year, so I can't say Jordan Smith, but that was a fun battle. I threw him a 2-0 slider that wasn't even close, and he swung, and we both just laughed at it in a pro game, which was hilarious this year. And then he texted me the other day, and I just sent him the video. Be like, remember this?
That's epic.
Oh man, who else? What other teammates I had that would love to strike out? Oh, it's just everyone. Oh my gosh, all my college buddies. Those are my best friends. I'm gonna say this year, one of my good buddies here, Brett Fick. He's gonna be a very well-known Cosmic player this year. I'm never gonna get to face him, but he's a very loud. He talks a lot of smack, so I'm never gonna be able to face him. But I'd love to strike out Brett Fick once, just to say I can, and I live with him and remind him every morning when we're drinking coffee.
There's your first TikTok batting cage.
Yeah, I think we'll have to get some down.
Yeah. All right. Favorite jersey of all time that you've got to wear? Oh, going back to blue.
There
Hey,
you
we're
go.
going right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Absolutely.
a huge gearhead though. I'm a huge jersey guy. I love everything. I have a million hats, million jerseys. I'm gonna say the Chicago Dogs were probably wearing a hot dog on my head was pretty cool.
See, I feel bad because
I'm trying to think.
I have about 50 hats, and the joke is, if people could see the podcast room, there's literally just a wall of hats to the left of me.
Oh, really? That's
Nothing
awesome.
but hats. Yeah. Like I bought a
For
hat
what
literally
I
just to get married in. I
oh
literally
really?
bought one hat
That's
just to get
awesome.
married in.
That's so cool. I think an honorable mention in the Northwoods. We did a Boy Scout night, and the other team was the S'mores, and we were the campfire, and it was the Eclair Express. They gave us the jerseys like it was a one-time thing. I wanted to buy it. They wouldn't let me buy it. I think they still use them, but it was like dark blue stars, and then it was like right here was a campfire, and
Ooh.
it was cool. Those were really cool. I always like the Star Wars ones. The best logo in sports though is the West Michigan Bung Hammers. That's my favorite hat of all time.
I'm
I
gonna
wear
have
it
to
every.
look that up.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna have to.
I gotta get it for you. It's right here. I got it.
Awesome. Even better.
You know what this is gonna show me, right? It's gonna show me a hat that I'm gonna want to collect now. It's probably gonna be hard to find.
All right. So here it is. This is my. I wish I could wear it, but I wear it every day. The Bung Hammers.
Ooh, that is cool.
I loved it. This is
That
my
is
brewery
fire.
hat.
Yeah, that is fire.
So that was like a one-time name change, and then I'm Canadian and I played for the Winnipeg Goldeye. So this Throwback Thursday Goldeye hat is
Oh,
That's
unbelievable.
nice.
I actually had someone try and buy this off me one time. I was like, no way. This is my baby. 30th anniversary patch too. It's so cool.
so
So this
what's
is my game.
okay?
This was our game hat.
So with you showing us that, what's it like playing in Canada compared to down here? Like, is baseball like fans the
It's
same up there?
it's awesome. Canadians love their sports, especially when you're in the middle of nowhere, Winnipeg, the butt crack of Canada, as they call it. They love their Goldeye. They love it. It was so much fun. Winnipeg was awesome. They treated us like we were in the MLB, and I had some really good teammates there as well. And playing for the Goldeye was probably the most fun summer I've ever had playing with the Goldeye. And we played in Quebec. I got the ability Quebec City, the Capitals. We opened in Quebec. I was with the New York Boulders, and they've won the last 4 years the Frontier League, like dynasty, and they make that place feel like you're in the MLB. Like we had like 6,000 strong like heads, like not one chair was unfilled. It was unbelievable, and they all speak French. They were trying to talk smack to me in French, and I said bonjour. I don't know what you're saying, but like we had no idea. But
right, so
I had a great weekend there too. It was opening night. It was like 8,000 strong. Pitched Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we took the series first time in Boulder history. I pitched every day. I didn't give up a hit, and that was a fun bus ride back to New York. That was awesome. That was a fun time.
All right, I got two more questions for you. If you could create a glove for anyone, who is on your bucket list to create a glove for?
That's a tough question there. Well, it's got to be a pitcher. It's got to be a Met. I mean, I just want to say DeGrom. I love DeGrom. I mean, if DeGrom were one of my gloves in the game, that would be something pretty cool. That would be one of my guys. I will say that's like my heart saying DeGrom, but I know I'd really want. I want Chandler Simpson. We've been talking with Chandler Simpson. I want him to be a Birdman guy. I've sent him some pretty cool mock-ups. I don't know. I think he's got one more year with. I don't know what glove company he's with, but I sent him a Simpsons glove with a donut and some, the Simpsons glove for Chandler Simpson. I'm gonna say Chandler Simpson. I hope if he ever sees this, I hope he wants to try out my glove.
That's amazing.
I might just make it for him and send it to him as a gift. I don't even care if he wears it, but I love Chandler Simpson.
We actually got to see him in the stadium you're playing in this weekend.
John Shrimp.
Yeah. Okay. So if you could create one glove with unlimited designs, no budget, what would you create for yourself?
I have. It just came in. So this is my glove I created a month ago. I've been literally checking the shipping every day. I'm going to show you guys. It's our sneak peek of our new glove of the month for Birdman. It's never before seen yet, but let's see if I can get a video
Can
of
we
this.
show it on the podcast? or get you some?
Absolutely.
Okay,
This is
I
it.
was
No,
gonna say, I can edit out.
this is. I'm not sure if you see it, but it's a cosmic brownie
Oh,
for cosmic baseball.
dude,
It's a little Debbie.
So there it is.
that is so
So that's
cool.
my. Yeah, it's got the I don't know what name yet because copyright and everything, but I think we're just gonna call it the brownie sundae or something. But I put the pink on the inside, the baby blue stitching for our jersey, and then it's got all the sparkles and sprinkles all over it.
That's gonna look
So
really
it just
cool with the blue jerseys.
so it just came in. My owner sent me a picture. I'm super excited. It's gonna glow. The pink's gonna glow. I'm super excited.
That is okay. Low key, I'm jealous.
All right. I got another one for you too. If you could figure out which character this is.
That's
This is
Patrick.
it's the Patrick Star glove I made for myself.
Pink star and then the shorts. He's got the
Yeah, the
shorts
short-
patterned in the teal.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I made these are my 3 for this year too. I got a little SpongeBob one. Looks like a sponge.
Yes, that's cool.
So yeah, those are my 3 this year. So I'm gonna say the brownie glove, which I'm super excited about.
With the pink jersey, you could come up with like a Krabby Patty theme because the Krabby Patty logo is pink. That'd be
Yeah, I
cool.
think the kids would love it too. I think that's kind of the plan, That, I'm super excited to rock it and advertise it. Luckily, we are Rawlings, but I have a deal with Birdman, so I'm gonna be the only guy rocking non-Rawlings out there. I'm pretty sure, which I'm excited about.
Man. So hopefully, we'll be at the game Thursday, I think, so we'll miss your outing. But for those that want to continue to follow you outside of just the glow emojis and what you'll be doing with the league, where else can our followers continue to follow and support you?
Instagram and my pathetic TikTok right now. I'm trying to build up the TikTok. That's all new to me. But definitely Instagram for sure. Nolan.Lamere is my Instagram. And then if all things gloves and gear is Noel's Gloves. That's my brand that I have on there. And so just those 2 Instagrams, working on the TikTok. Not the best right now. I'm learning from all my roommates. Those guys are pretty good at it. So we're getting there on the TikTok as well. But just Instagram right now.
All right. Well, again, thank you for joining us on the podcast. Like, this is a lot of fun, and I really do look forward to this weekend. I know where the bullpen is. I know where you'll be sitting, so maybe I can come by and say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to hook you guys up. We'll throw some balls. We'll get you. Just let me know how many. I'm trying to think. I wish I could give you some gear. I'm such a gearhead.
Oh, no.
We just got them. Absolutely, yeah. I got you guys with balls though. We'll get you some glow balls, as many as you need. We'll hook it up for sure. And yeah, absolutely. Whatever you guys need.
But again,
Yeah,
thank you for
absolutely.
coming on the podcast. Can't wait to see your fun with this league, and I really do hope that this does kind of bring the fun back into baseball for you.
Yeah, we're super excited. We got a good group here, and we got a lot planned for this weekend. So I'm excited that you guys are going to be there, and you're going to see me dance like a fool with myself. So get ready for it.
All right. So, guys, until next time, keep it inside the foul. We'll see you next week.